Yo, Comic Fam, we're here at San Diego Comic-Con, Gem Mint, Fire Guy Ryan, the Golden Age Guru, and where are we?
We're recording from the Alex Ross Tower. We're gonna bring you the Hot 10 every week, no matter the circumstances. Hit that like and make sure you're subscribed.
Take a look at this shot. We are above San Diego Comic-Con 2023. Let's talk about some hot comic books.
Let's kick this off at number 10 on this list is Crime Suspense Stories number 22. One of the guiltiest comic books in all of comic history, because if it wasn't for this book and probably a few others, we would not have had that comic code. Check out this classic cover done by Johnny Craig. This is an EC book. You gotta love it. If you're into horror or not, you can see why there was a code placed. Now, this book has got some amazing highs. It's always been a classic. It's always been loved and appreciated. Now, there's a lot of them graded. All right, EC is a very popular book, but it doesn't matter. The demand is far too high. Let's check out some of these numbers.
This is a tough book in high grade. There's only 7 copies that exist between a 9.0 and a 9.8, and that 9.8 has never sold publicly.
When we're talking about record breakers, we're not even just discussing complete books here. There was a 0.5 sale just recently for $17.95. That is $95 more than a complete 0.5 sale of $1,700 just this year in January.
You hear that? A complete copy sold for less this year than what a missing back page incomplete copy just sold.
And it gets even crazier than that. In a 2.0, there was a sale of $2,900 in April, and now up 45% to $4,200.
Record-breaking sale.
This is just going up in all grades. The 3.5 is up 5%, the 5.5 is up 1%, and let's get some more record sales because we just saw a Gaines file copy sell at an 8.5 grade for $19,250 in 2020, but now up 112% at $40,800.
Starting out San Diego Comic-Con with Decapitation. Utilize code TOM101 on the best comic app in existence. Support the show. Key Collector Comics just uploaded an additional 400,000 comics to the app, and now the comic portfolio is vast. You can catalog everything, get suggested pricing, and so much more.
Yeah, one of the greatest updates that I'm enjoying the most is the Heritage Auction update. They have a category there that keeps me up to date of what is happening with Heritage Auctions.
Crime Suspense Story was just one of 103 different sales. Stay up to date on not just modern, but gold as well. Jem, hit him with number 9.
We've got Amazing Spider-Man 34 with a beautiful Steve Ditko Craven cover, and we have to suspect that the popularity of Craven is what's drawing attention to this book, but it's also a sleeper key. 2 second appearances. You got Gwen Stacy and Harry Osborn.
Craven on the cover, a tough book because it's a 12 center, and a movie that's got me thinking a lot about other characters we could see.
We've got books outperforming the average and record-breaking sales. We have a CGC 5.0 that sold for $190, 7% above its 12-month average, and the 9.0 is up 6%, selling for $1,200. Then these record breakers, the 8.5, which sold for $790 back in June, is up 20% with an all-time record high of $950. And then we have the 9.4. $16.95 was where that record was set back in 2022, and that's up 27%, selling for $21.60.
Yeah, and to Tom's point, there have been a lot of Spider-Man villains who have yet to appear in live action. I think Craven was the biggest one that we have yet to see until now, but you got to look further down the road. And you got characters like Scorpion, who they set up in Spider-Man Homecoming and have yet to pay off. You've also got Black Cat, who has not been in live action yet, Hobgoblin, Chameleon, who is actually Spider-Man's first villain, by the way, as well as Hammerhead.
And number 8 on this list, as we are at San Diego Comic-Con, is one of the hottest books that I've seen at some of these booths. Brave and the Bold, number 57.
Anthony Kerrigan, you know him from Barry, got casted to portray Metamorpho. Clearly, James Gunn is going in very unique ways with this new DC world building that he's doing. This book is hot as hell, and it's tough and high grade.
I know you guys just discussed this on the Trending 10, and now it's on the hot list. It's up 800% in sales.
That is a lot of copies sold week over week, and we have record-breaking sales across the board. The 4.5 last sold in April for $180. It's up 59%, selling for $286. The 5.0 is up 46%, selling for $300, where you could have secured this under $200 all year long. The 5.5, which last sold in 2021 for $356, is up 14%, selling for $405 this past week. The 7.5 back in May sold for $550. It's up 16%, selling for $640. The 8.5 last sold for $605 in 2021, crossing the $1,000 marker for the first time in comic book history, an increase of 98%, selling for $1,200. And it didn't stop there. Jeff hit him with the 9.2.
We had a 9.2 sell for $1,485 in June, and now just saw another 9.2 go for $1,780. That's up 20%. And I cannot stress enough, there are certain magical books on this list that are extremely hot in this convention, and this is one of them. Shout out to Silver Age Comics at booth number 1106. That's where we're hanging out, and that's where I'm seeing some of these books move.
We're on to number 7, and of course, I get handed the Green Lantern number. This is Green Lantern number 59, the first appearance of Guy Gardner. We were just talking about Metamorpho getting cast in Superman Legacy, and surprise, Guy Gardner has also been announced to be in Superman Legacy. He will be portrayed by Nathan Fillion, who you probably remember from Firefly. This book is selling above average in a lot of grades, so I'm just going to jump right into it. We've got a 4.0, just sold for $216. That's up 2%. A 4.5 sold for $210. That's up 22%. That happened twice, by the way. 2 sales in a 4.5 over that 12-month average. A 5.0 just hit for $280. That's up by 3%. Then we get up into the 6.5, where 4 different books sold over the 12-month average. The highest one went for $380, which was a 16% increase. Then we're moving into the 7.0. I told you there's a lot on here. $450. That's 16% up. 7.5. 2 different books broke the average. Highest one being a 604. That's up 48%. We move on to the 8.0. That's 825. It just hit 825 this week. 14% increase over the 12-month average. And last but not least, we have an 8.5 that just sold for just under $1,000 at $988, 18% over the 12-month average.
Shout out to Chris, Rups Comics, for letting us take over his tower at the Alex Ross booth. Make sure to check out alexrossart.com and also take a look at all of these exclusives. Holy smokes, there are so many of them. My favorite is the one you're holding, Jeff. That's one of my favorite Joker covers of all time.
I'm a huge fan of Alex Ross, and I especially dig his homages. You got to come check out the booth. The art is amazing.
The gallery here is outstanding. He did this homage to Jim Lee X-Men #1, the Avengers painting that's brand new. If you're at San Diego, come see this booth. It's a really special thing to see Alex Ross painted work in person. This next book on the list, I don't want to talk about. I'm done.
That's because it's Spider-Man 2099, issue number 1, 6 consecutive weeks on the Hot 10.
Forever has 365 reigns supreme. And over 6 weeks, this book has landed on the Hot 10, the hottest books in the world, and this is one of them.
Well, it looks like forever just ended because this book continues to hit the hot list 6 consecutive weeks in a row, and it's looking like more and more copies are being graded as we speak. We have a CGC 9.2 up 7% from its 12-month average. The 9.4 is up 116%. It just sold for $110, and there were 12 sales that exceeded that 9.4 average this week. The 9.6 is up 43%, selling for $100. 4 sales also achieved that. And then the 9.8, selling for $221, 41% above its 12-month average, and 9 sales beat that average this week.
This book broke $400 in June at a CGC 9.8. The fact that you can get it for near the $200 marker, if you're patient, is why you need to hit the subscribe button. The supply is going up. A lot of people are getting this book graded right now. They saw the movie and they're getting ready and hoping they're gonna see Miguel O'Hara again.
And the Spider-Verse doesn't end there. Number 5 on the list, we have Amazing Spider-Man 78, the first appearance of the Prowler.
The Prowler! I had to say it because Tom won't shut up about that book. Again, we're here halfway down the hot list. We got the Prowler. We've got Across the Spider-Verse continuing to drive books onto the hot list. Doesn't make a lot of sense, especially when you consider how high the Prowler is on this list and the fact that we don't really know if Donald Glover is going to reprise that role in live action. When he signed up to do it, it was explicitly as a one-time little favor thing. It took him like a day to shoot that whole scene, so he's not signed up for any contracts. We might not see him again in live action.
Well, the book's got a lot of things going for it. Hobie Brown is not only the Prowler, but we have multiple versions of the Prowler, and we have a version of Hobie Brown who's Spider-Punk.
So even though we did get that setup at the end of an evil Miles Morales as the Prowler, we're going to get a little more of him in the 3rd movie. I might not be so sure, but stay tuned. We're going to get into that later. Let's get into some numbers because we have a 4.5 that just sold for $152 this week, 36% over the 12-month average. A 5.0 just hit $159 for a 20% increase. A 6.0 just hit $201. The crowd's excited. That's a 14% increase. And a 9.0 just hit $720. It's a little bit increase, just a 3% increase, but it still counts.
Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. Are you guys seeing a theme yet on this list? Because it's not going to stop. Coming in number 4 is Amazing Spider-Man number 41. our first appearance of the Rhino. This is only the third work by Romita on Spider-Man. An absolutely great cover, and one I'm seeing being submitted to CGC quite a bit at this con already.
This book is up, and it's because everybody's excited for Russell Crowe. I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson, the Kraven, and the Rhino. Going full Rhino, transforming in trailer. People want that silver.
We just saw 3.5 sell 17% greater than its past sale for $349. A 6.0 is up 12% for $620, and 6.5 sold for $900. That's up 36%. But let's jump to the 7.5 sale, which was an average of $902, but is now up 49% at 1,341 buckaroos.
We're in the home stretch. We're almost done. Wolverine #1 makes the list again here at number 3. This is from 1982, the first Wolverine solo title. It's been on the list forever now, and here it is again.
If you guys caught last week's Hot 10, those sales were prior to the Hugh Jackman Wolverine costume reveal, so these sales are reflecting what happened afterward. A 9.0 is up 7% from its 12-month average, just like the 9.2. The 9.4 is up 27%, the 9.6 is up 20, and the 9.8 just sold for $729, 5% above average.
This book is hitting $700 for a 9.8. It's been on the up climb because members are trying to get it before the movie comes out, which is the next superhero movie in line to do so. However, as of this week, the writer's strike has officially shut down production on Deadpool 3. I think this book has opportunity to take some dips during the lulls. Watch this price. If you can get it for under $700, I think it's gonna happen sooner than later.
Speaking of the writer's strike and the actor's strike, number 2 on the list is Ultimate Fallout 4, which is the first appearance of Miles Morales, which has been hot ever since it was confirmed that we were gonna get a live-action version.
One of the exciting parts when they first announced this movie a couple years ago was that they were filming and gonna release both the second and third installments of the Spider-Verse trilogy pretty close to each other. The third movie has been slated for March 2024 for a while now. However, we did just hear from Haley Steinfeld, who came out and said she hasn't recorded any of the dialogue yet for the third installment, which is a little worrisome since March is not that far away.
Yeah, that's not a good sign, and it's going to be interesting to see if that affects this book in the upcoming weeks. But we did have a 7.5 sell for 36% above its 12-month average. The 8.0 sold for 13% up. The 8.5 sold for $450, which is the same as what the 8.0 sold for, putting it just 2% above its average, so still some room to grow. The 9.0 sold for $475, just about at average, and the 9.4 sold for $600, which is 8% up. Finally, we have the 9.6, which is up 11%, selling for just shy of $800, and 2 sales in 9.6 beat that average.
Delays can't keep Miles down. It's the second hottest book in the world. The FOMO is real, and I want to know from the comic fam in the comment section below, is this the time to grab it, or should you wait?
Yo, Jem, I've seen these exclusives for San Diego Comic-Con that you and the team have put together. They are absolute fire.
Now, some of the best exclusives that we put together for sure.
ComicTom101.store. Take a look at this Boys #1 Zoe Lucky Starlight cover. We have trade dresses, a color splash, and a foil of this gorgeous piece of art. I have a Hail Crow Bloodborne homage.
Yeah, it's the video game that almost made me give up being a gamer. It's an homage to Eileen the Crow, a character from Bloodborne. We've also got the first Spider-Man cover we've ever done as a variant, which is exciting. We've got this crazy-looking cover done by Davide Paratore, which I really like. We've also got a purple foil variant for Night Terror's Batman issue #1.
Support the show. We did some super affordable pricing for the comic fam. And the #1 hottest book in the world, shout out Rob Liefeld, is the first appearance of Deadpool and New Mutants '98.
So many freaking numbers to discuss. I'm gonna need pouches for all of them, but let's talk about why we are discussing this book. It's the suit. It's gotta be the suit. New Mutants '98. We see the classic suit.
This is a pretty common book, but it's pretty affordable. You can get a 7.5 for $279. That's up 5%, however. The 8.0 is up 9%. The 8.5 is up 11%. The 9.0, that's up 4%. And then we have a newsstand 9.0 that's up 6%, selling for $450.
The direct market 9.2 is up 2%. The newsstand 9.2, however, is up 63%. It just sold for $699. You have the 9.4, which sold for $480. That's 8% above. The 9.6 is 7% above, and the 9.8 sold for $1,579, which is 3% above average.
So Rob Liefeld kind of got into it with someone on Twitter who is kind of echoing a complaint that I think all of us have had at some point or another, that trailers are just kind of giving away too much of the movies sometimes. I don't necessarily agree with that in most cases, definitely not in Deadpool 3 specifically, but Rob Liefeld shot back at him and he had this to say.
I'm gonna circle back in May because there is no way you aren't surprised. There's more info to be revealed. Who is excited about Deadpool 3? Who's excited about San Diego Comic-Con? I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. And as always,
Geek responsibly, but stay minty fresh.
enough said.